So today's AWA winner is Malav from Canada. He's our first run from my northern neighbor up there. Hope everything's good up in Canada. So he has a prompt that says, Supercorp recently moved its headquarters to Corporateville. The recent surge in the number of homeowners in Corporateville proves, that's a very strong word, that Corporateville is a superior place to live than Middlesburg. Well, that's obviously an assumption. The assumption being that the number of homeowners is tied to whether a place is superior or not. The home of Supercorp's original headquarters. Moreover, Middlesburg is a predominantly urban area, and according to an employee survey, so there's another assumption that this survey is accurate. Supercorp has determined that its workers prefer to live in an area that is not urban. Again, they're assuming that this survey is accurate. Finally, Corporateville has lower taxes than Middlesburg, making it not only a safer place to work, but also a cheaper one. Lower taxes doesn't mean cheaper or a safer place to work. I'm not even sure what that means, but that's obviously an assumption. And then finally, the conclusion, the Supercorp clearly has made the best decision. All right, so let's go ahead and see how Malav did here. So Malav starts out by saying, Supercorp has concluded. Really? Is this the author? I don't know who the author is, so I think it would be better to say the author has concluded that Corporateville is a better place for its headquarters than Middlesburg. Okay. The conclusion is made on a basis from the presented arguments, which are lacking in evidence. So that's a pretty big grammar mistake. That's what we call a deadly sin right there. That's a subject-verb disagreement mistake. If additional information is not provided regarding the three topics outlined below, the conclusion can be invalidated. Invalidated, you're using the passive voice here. You should just say the conclusion will be invalid, or is invalid, or is not justified, or does not hold water, something like that. I wouldn't be using the passive voice right here. Firstly, there is a claim that a surge in homeowners in Corporateville proves that it is a superior place to live. What may be the reasons of such an increase? What are the reasons? 4. There is no justification given for Corporateville being a superior place to live due to a rising population. Okay, I would have worded it differently, but I get what you're saying. Assuming that is the reason, there is no population information given about Middlesburg. Well, they did say there's more homeowners in Corporateville, so they kind of do give me information, right? Let me take a look. The recent surge in the number of homeowners. Oh, no, you're right. No, you're right. They don't give any information about that. Perhaps Middlesburg has a larger population with a greater number of services. Perhaps the reason the population of Corporateville is increasing, well, it says homeowners are increasing, is because it is more isolated from other communities. So to save time on travel to and from, people simply decide to move closer to the city. So the population of Corporateville is increasing because it's isolated. I'm not sure I follow your logic here. The population of Corporateville, oops, is rising. Is that right? Did I spell that right? Corporateville, yeah, is rising because it is more isolated? Is that what am I reading that correctly? I'm a little bit confused. Another thing is the assumption is about the homeowners, not necessarily about population. So this body paragraph kind of misses the point a little bit, in my opinion. You do say homeowners, but what they're really trying to say is that home ownership is tied to the superiority of a place, not really population size. They're just saying that the Corporateville is becoming kind of a good place to live. Here, let me show you what I mean. I'll write this, okay? I would say, first of all, the author assumes, without justification, that the number of homeowners in an area is directly tied to that area's superiority over another. However, this may not be the case. Perhaps home ownership, is that one word? Yeah. Really? Is that really one word? Huh. Home ownership is rising in Corporateville because of government subsidies or cheap land. It is also possible that many people are purchasing homes there simply as an investment and not to live in. If that were the case, then the superiority of Corporateville cannot be reliably tied to the recent increase in homeowners. The author's conclusion would thus be weakened, something like that. So notice I'm kind of connecting it to home ownership rather than population. Secondly, what are the subjects of the survey conducted by SuperCorp? Again, kind of phrased awkwardly. Do you mean who are the subjects? You mean who, right? Perhaps the survey was for all SuperCorp employees, but only a few people filled it out. Furthermore, what is the demographic? Few is okay. Furthermore, what is the demographics of the people who completed the survey? Perhaps it is the older aged employees filling out the survey who seek a more serene lifestyle, and because they have more resentment that Middlesbrough has evolved into urban area. There is no background given on the scope of the survey either, like the type of questions asked. Pretty good. Was it simply just, do you like living in Middlesbrough, or was it more thorough, where the survey tried to draw out the true problems its employees have with the headquarters in Middlesbrough? There needs to be more information provided regarding the depth and breadth of the survey to justify the claim that SuperCorp employees support the move. This is actually a pretty strong paragraph, in my opinion. I don't think the writing is particularly maybe academic or potent is the right word, or powerful, but I do think the logic is quite strong. I like the examples. I like the holes that he's identifying. I think this is pretty good. In my opinion, this is much better than the first one. Finally, do low taxes directly mean a cheaper way of life? Good. In fact, this seems like SuperCorp is making an argument that contradicts its conclusion. If it is assumed that lower taxes mean a cheaper lifestyle, this justifies the increase in homeowners in Corporateville. This poses another question that if the number of homeowners is increasing, will the population increase? We're missing a lot of punctuation here. Again, I'm not sure exactly what you're trying to say. I mean, it seems like this entire paragraph should be about taxes, but you're kind of losing focus here. You're losing focus by introducing other ideas into the mix. People have realized that life is indeed... So here you're not even using maybe language. No maybe language. Cheaper in Corporateville, and it is worth investing into a city with a lower cost of living. However, with an increase in population comes an increase in demand of goods and services. Furthermore, if the population of Corporateville is subject to increase, those who may have voted in the survey to support the move because Middlesbrough was too urban will be experiencing a similar problem in Corporateville. There needs to be more information. I mean, this paragraph, in my opinion, has no focus. It's just jumping around like crazy. Like, for example, I thought the entire thing was going to be about taxes, but it just seems like it jumped to population, and then it jumped to the old people, and then it jumped to the survey. There are three main claims made on unstated assumptions that need to be addressed before a conclusion can be justified. Perhaps by a more comprehensive survey or an independent research study, the questions posed above need to be answered, or the conclusion by SuperCorp is nullified. Okay, not a bad conclusion. I like body 2. I'm okay with body 1, but I don't love it. Body 3 seems like it lacks a clear focus to me. if you did body 2, so basically what I'm telling you, do body 2 3 times. Is kind of not the same idea, obviously, but the same focus and the same kind of cogent analysis and things of that nature. So I see 2 possibilities here. The human gives you a 3 and the computer a 4. Human gives you a 4 and the computer a 4. And you're left with, either a 3.5 or a 4.0. I'm going to give this a 3.5. I'm just going to err on the side of caution here and kind of try to motivate you to clean up your grammar, clean up some of these mistakes, make it more focused, make it cleaner. And if you do those things, I think you're well on your way to a 4 or a 5. All right, thank you so much, my love. I appreciate you submitting this, and I hope this was helpful.